Good afternoon, and well, it's very cloudy here in the greater Kruger National Park on this fine summer's day. It means that hopefully we're going to get a little bit more rain this evening, which is quite exciting. My name is Tayla McCurdy, and on camera with me this afternoon is Brian and his thumb, who is dressed in a Speedo. And I suppose if the rain does come down, that's still a good item of clothing to wear. What do you think, Brian? It's all right. As you saw just a moment ago, we've got the most spectacular herd of impala, which is the most successful antelope in Africa. You will see them around all the corners, on all the different roads that you ever drive on. They are everywhere, but they are beautiful to look at, and a lot of the time, unfortunately, we sort of overlook this beautiful antelope. And if it wasn't for them, there probably wouldn't be as many leopards around. Especially in this area, it's actually the favorite prey of a leopard. Now, we are on a live safari at the moment, and we'd love to hear from you, so you're welcome to comment and interact with us if you have any questions. But you can see there's also lots of little tiny lambs in and amongst the females, and that's because it's lambing season. We've just had all these tiny little babies. And now the rain is starting to fall down. Can you believe it? So I suspect that this herd of impala is most likely going to start moving off into some of the thicker vegetation to try and seek a little bit of shelter. I think it's going to come down quite quickly. Now, the animals aren't scared of the rain, especially if it is just a light drizzle. It's not a problem. But when you get a torrential downpour, and you have to sort of ask yourself, what would you do? Would you stand out in the middle of the rain? Or would you head for the hills and try and have a little bit of shelter? But there's a big male impala actually just coming down the road in front of us. Hello, CJ. CJ, you were wondering if impala migrate. They don't need to. There's normally enough vegetation around for them. They don't just eat the grass. They also eat leaves. They will nibble on fruit. So that's why they are so successful, is because they don't just rely on one type of vegetation. They're able to feed on a number of different things. But this big male impala ram has obviously heard the cries of the impala females and is now heading towards them just to make sure that they're all behaving and hopefully that there's no other males trying to steal his breeding herd. But he's watching us very carefully too. Hello, boy. Now, Carla, you were wondering how do the mothers keep their little ones safe? It's actually very difficult because a female impala doesn't have too much to protect itself, unlike this big male that has got those beautiful big horns on the top of his head. However, the impala are extremely athletic. They're able to run really, really fast, and they can also leap at high heights, of course, and at large lengths too. In my opinion, I think that they are the long-distance jumping champions out here in the bush. So what they will do is if they feel threatened, they will start racing away, maybe even try and head into some thicker vegetation to hope that whatever is chasing them, or actually, well, all the vegetation will slow them down. You can see the male, he's coming in, bossing all the girls around, rounding them up. He's very excited at the moment. Hello, everybody who's watching from Vietnam, Australia, and South Africa. It's absolutely lovely to have you here this afternoon. Like I said, if you've got any questions, you're more than welcome to pop them through, and we'd be happy to answer them. Now, it's not just me out here this afternoon. Avi is out and about, and he's on Arethusa. He's got some lions. Jamie Patterson is in the tent looking at some awesome things underneath the microscope. She's also got lots of skulls and all sorts of other goodies with her. So if you want to go and have a look and see what they're up to, head on over to wildsafarilive.com. And we continue with the safaris twice a day. So you're always welcome to join us in the morning and the afternoons. That little impala is not enjoying the rain so much. You see that? Twitching its coat, flapping its ears around. But these impala will be used to rain. as they've experienced an exceptional amount of it. And you can see them all now moving off, hiding behind some trees. And they're very clever, the impala. They don't necessarily have to stand underneath a tree. They will just stand behind a tree and use it to shelter themselves. So basically they'll find something where the wind is not blowing the rain onto their bodies. But this will be nice now. We can hopefully, with these drops of rain, the insects, all the biting flies that are out and about at the moment and harassing all the animals, hopefully it's going to keep them at bay, but not just yet, because you can see them all scratching behind their ears, twitching their ears, and also swatting their tails around, which is really the only fly swatter that an animal has out here in the bush. Now you can see that impala is watching us. She's got her ears perked straight towards us. She's keeping her eyes close on us, and that's probably because she has a little lamb nearby. And also, with this terrible weather that's coming through, it's bringing the wind. Now, the wind is not a herbivore's friend because it muffles sound, and their hearing is probably one of the main senses that they use when it comes to trying to, well, sort of look out, well, hear out for any predators that are trying to sneak up on them. And when that rain and the wind come into play, they become a little bit more panicked and can often be quite skittish. Hello, girl. But she's just ruminating at the moment. Now, I know a few of you are hoping that there's a leopard nearby, and that's actually something that we're looking for. We're looking for a leopard by the name of Kruger and her 2 cubs who were seen in the area. So we've been scouting for them, and if we don't have any luck with Kruger, we're actually going to head to the far east, and we're going to go and have a look. Apparently, a mating pair of leopards has been sighted in the eastern sector of the reserve. So that's probably what we're going to be doing. So remember, head on across to wildsafariLive.com. Wherever you've got lions, we're hopefully going to have leopards a little bit later if they decide to stick around. And Jamie is looking at amazing things in the tent. Now, Sylvia, you're wondering if there are any gazelle here. No, in the area that we're in, unfortunately, there aren't any gazelle. We've just got all the various antelope species, like the impala and the kudu. Maybe we'll find some of the rest of them, a little steenbok and common duiker, but we have to look very, very carefully for those 2 species because they're quite small, they don't live in herds, they're solitary, and they like to hide behind all the vegetation. The little steenbok actually look very much like a baby impala, really. But you'll have to keep watching, like I said. Go on to wildsafariLive.com. And we actually just a moment ago, we did see a little steenbok. And can you hear the cicadas? They're also chirping away at the moment. It's beautiful out here. And this is one of the most amazing things about being out in Africa, is that you don't just get to see the most incredible animals, you get to hear the most amazing things too. The sounds of the birds as they're waking up in the morning or just before they're going to sleep at night, and all the frogs chirping, which we're going to be hearing very soon. We're going to keep moving on now. Like I said, we're going to start making our way to the eastern corner of the 8.5 million acres of land that these animals have got to roam around on. We're probably not going to head that far away, but we're going to just head probably about a mile or 2, maybe even a little bit further, and hopefully be able to relocate on these leopards. But let's have a look and see who else is lurking around in the bushes. I also had some really nice elephant tracks coming down this road. I think they've disappeared, so we'll just keep an eye out. Now, Renee, you're wondering if you can hear thunder. I haven't heard any thunder, so I wonder what it is, but it wouldn't surprise me if in the next hour or 2 we did get a bit of thunder sort of rolling in from the distance. Rightio, but I'm going to have to say goodbye to all of you, but I hope that you've enjoyed, well, looking at those beautiful impala with us, and we hope you continue watching. So head on over to Wild Safari Live to see lions with Evia, and hopefully we'll get you some leopards too.